Hey y'all, what's going on? What's happening? So I'm here live in effect, and today I got my dear friend. All right, he really don't need no introduction, but I'm gonna go ahead and bring him on here. So as y'all can see the title, we're gonna be talking about the science of fasting, the Sufi knowledge, supreme mathematics, and human behavior. All right, so we're gonna try not to be on here very long. All right, so I'm gonna try to make it as probably like 30 minutes to an hour, hopefully. Okay, well, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and bring my brother on here. So for
I,
those of you who don't know, this is brother Ngozi. Okay, now brother Ngozi, before you get started, uh, on my social media account, are you there?
yeah, yeah. I'm
Okay,
right
on
here.
my
Yeah,
social
yeah, yeah,
yeah, on my social media account, right?
yeah.
I've been getting questions about who is my enlightener. Who is my enlightener? Okay, because
Uh-huh.
as you know, I do supreme mathematics from time to time. So they like, who is your enlightener? And I ain't never told nobody, but you're one of my enlighteners. You're one
Absolutely.
of them. Yes. All right.
Alhamdulillah.
So okay. So let's go ahead and jump on into it, shall we? Shall we? Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead. Uh-oh, them lights flashing behind you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's that we out
Okay,
here in the zone. So I wanted to say
yeah.
this. Assalamu alaikum to you and Ramadan Mubarak. I
Ramadan
want to
Mubarak
say
to
that
you
to
as
you.
well. How's your Ramadan?
Alhamdulillah, I broke my fast. And I also wanted to say today's mathematics, as we know it, is what? Knowledge God. It's the 17th. You know what I'm saying? And how I seek that, that knowledge God. You can only gain knowledge through proper experience and understand the proper scientific methodology in order to seek what's seven, which is God. And God within itself is ultimate reality if you see it in the format of how you choose to deal with it because it's idea. Let me just say that. So, alhamdulillah.
Okay. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the beautiful mathematics today is
Yeah.
knowledge and God, which
Yes,
gives,
sir.
build, and destroy. So basically, what you did, you build on the information
Yeah.
and pretty much, destroy the illusion. So
Absolutely.
that's beautiful.
Absolutely.
That's a beautiful thing right there. All right.
Absolutely.
So, speaking of fasting, all right, because this month is Ramadan. Beautiful Ramadan. Yeah. So, what is the science of fasting?
Fasting is very ancient. Fasting is old. It predates even Islam. I mean, you could find studies of it with even in suits or the pharaohs fasting. Fasting is just a human thing. The science to it is a beauty because even before pharaohs, humans was fasting. I mean, especially when we were hunter gatherers, where we had time, when we couldn't get food, and we had to fast or not eat at some time phase of human history. So fasting is very ancient, but the benefits to fasting is the metabolism, which is your chemical reactions, reboosting and allowing your autoimmunities or your immunities to reboost. Your white blood cells, the leukocytes, and you know about the erythrocytes, leukocytes, and you understand the immunities, which is the white blood cells, how it allows it to recycle itself and allow your body to go through a reboot because eating and compacting too much food all the time is not good on the cells or the cellular wall or the cellular tissue. So when you allow yourself to fast to not really renew but to reboot itself, you're allowing your body to have a proper reboot and you allow the metabolism or the chemical reactions to have a setback in a healthier way because the chemical reactions is your metabolism that burn everything that you dissolve. So when you allow your body to have like a setting or a form of relaxation from not eating so much, that's the benefits of fasting. And there are different methods and different ways of fasting. The Islamic way, alhamdulillah, I really agree with. It's pretty much close to intermediate fasting. So we don't eat until the sun go down. I mean, we don't eat until the sun go down completely, and we follow the time period. But it's benefits in that because if you understand the science of intermediate fasting, it's a beautiful science to it when you allow your body to go without eating for a long period of time, sometimes 12 to 16 hours, and then you eat at a certain time. So people should look up intermediate fasting and the benefits of it if you want to see it from that aspect. On a religious aspect, for those that believe in Allah, you should fast for a certain amount of time and go through what other people go through that's less fortunate, and give charity and different things to allow yourself to experience the human experience for what it really is.
All right, yeah. So, fasting normally lasts for like 12 hours a day, right?
Yes.
About 12 hours a day. Okay. Now, many people don't know that when you fasting, like especially on the month of Ramadan, you can't even drink water.
No. No water.
I remember because I remember like when I had started fasting, this is when I in my youngest days. man, it was so hard, and it was around the summertime too.
Hmm.
You don't eat nothing and you don't drink nothing all day. I felt like I was gonna die because
But some people, if you have health conditions like diabetes or certain disorders, and women on a cycle, if you have to eat, you have to eat. Allah subhanahu
yeah,
wa ta'ala understands. So it's like,
yeah, yeah, of course.
it's for those that could, and you should, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala understands because he's the ultimate reality. So it depends on the individual. I mean, hope most people should experience it, but no, you shouldn't. If you're trying to do it and trying to be active and submit to the higher aspect of yourself, which is reality, I think that you shouldn't drink the water, and you should experience the suffering and the migraines, and eventually the body will adjust if it goes a certain amount of time or a certain period of time within the process of what we're going through. Eventually the body will adjust.
Can I ask this question? I know this is a strange question. Should you exercise? Should you exercise while you're fasting?
Not in the daytime if you're going through headaches.
I'm just asking because I don't
No, no,
feel
no.
like to go to the gym. So
Now, if I was the individual, I wouldn't allow my body to be put at risk like that. It's a lot of that's very strenuous. So I wouldn't. I
that's
would.
not a smart idea.
No, no, no. It's non-cipher right there.
Yeah. Okay. I was just asking. All right,
But
so
you know what? But you know what? You got some people that can do it. My thing is, if you can do it, do it. You feel me? If you can do it, do it. Alhamdulillah. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think I'll probably want to take that risk. If I was to do that, it'll be a light exercise.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't want to take no risk to be on no bench presses, no
Hmm.
doggone treadmill, and I'm not gonna take that risk. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
skip that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna skip that. Okay, so now let's get into the relationship between the supreme mathematics, right, and Sufi knowledge. Okay,
Hmm.
so the conversation came about, with the lessons, 5% lesson or whatnot, and you pretty thorough on the 5% lesson,
Hmm.
um, and you also know about the Sufi knowledge.
Uh-huh.
So I tried to explain the concept of, the relationship between Sufi knowledge and, 5% from the esoteric concept, what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of similarity. So how would you go about explaining?
The 5%ers are the street Sufis, whether they like it or not. It's a form of Sufism. Um, and also, when you are in Sufi orders, like I am a Murid, and I've been a Sheikh Amadou Bamba, but we also have a secret order, or um, the secret society or secret order of called Gurma. And for those who are part of this, they know what Gurma means. And I wouldn't talk about that because it takes the individual to get to become part and partial. But I am a Murid. Um, and as a Murid, we understand Sheikh Amadou Bamba properly. And we venerate him. But Sufism, when you deal with, I follow a lot of the teachings of I'm sorry,
Ibn
Ibn al
Arabi?
Arabi, and I
Yeah.
see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as reality. That's how I see it. A lot of the Sufis, in earlier times, especially those in Baghdad and Iran and Turkey, seeing Allah for reality. And if it's not it's very similar to the 5%ers, except that um, the 5%ers are those who study the nation of gods and earth. They see Allah as man, and they see the black woman as earth. The Sufis wouldn't say that, because they still mainly and still are part of the Sunnah. You know what I'm saying? It's just the deeper esoteric side of Islam. Or for some say they branch, or it's a derivative under the Shiite, and we understand the splittage between the Shiites and the Sunnah. For those that's going to be in the chat, I'm sure they're going to write about that. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the God or the deity or the no, has his beautiful attributes, and we know who is the hidden attribute, which is or he that is. Who, you hear that a lot. But Allah, which is the God, what is that? What is the God? How do you define it at the supreme core outside of its attributes? Because it doesn't really explain what it is, it only explains what it's like through the attributes and patterns. So we really don't understand what the absolute or the totality really is. So as a Germa, or Germa, as we say, from the 5% aspect and certain things that we pick up, the supreme mathematics that we inserted in, because we still keep that, we wouldn't say that the black, for us, And I come from those old schools of thoughts. But with my understanding now, I wouldn't say that the black man is God. I wouldn't say that the black woman is earth, because there is no God but the God. And when you say that la ilaha illallah, there is no God but Allah, how do you find Allah? It's impossible. So I couldn't use arm, leg, arm, head. That's a urbanized and a beautiful form of propaganda that we form right here in the West. But El Lamlaha, or Allah, doesn't have body portions, because the only thing that has uh, uh, um, Alif Lam Lam Ha. I'm sorry, Alif Lam Lam Ha. Right, but the only thing that has body parts is human beings. So the Sufis and the five percenters, to a degree, they stand by the same thing, except one is for more of a nationalistic movement for the black man and woman who was oppressed in the West. So it starts off as social reforming, if you want to say, to put the black man in his proper place because of the oppression that they've been through in the West. But on a larger scale, Islam is much more larger than just the population in the West, because we do have our own rites of passage coming in North America, going through what we've been through. And our history is based off what it's based off of, and it should not ever be denied, because that's our rites of passage. The African American, or the black of America, is the African that's the foundation of North America. So when our brothers back home see the African in North America, they should recognize us as being the part of them that was stripped from back home, that was the building blocks of that. And that's why we got to respect and love one another. So I'm not belittling our situation, but I'm saying Islam is more larger, on a larger scale. So it's not regional. It's global. It's national. It's everywhere. So we have to understand the story of what is what. So I believe, or for me, because people don't have to learn the understanding of self and how you choose to deal with self based off my observation. The 5% lessons in Nation of Gods and Earth is based off our reaction, because it was out of reaction for what happened to us right here in the diaspora in this portion of North America, or as I call us, Anak, African North American Creoles, or Middle Passage Americans. We created that as a form out of reaction, and it made sense at its time. But the mathematics and other things, it puts you at a place when you say things like, "Oh, the black man is, God," smaller G. I'm just saying, when you say things like that, it puts you in a place like you're not less than, and you're just as important and just as superior as other people. So at the time, it made sense for what we were going through. But on a larger scale, when you get deeper into Islam, Islam is much more larger and complex than just, that aspect of what we created. But I don't downplay it at all. I still, the mathematics is beautiful.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, and I agree. And as far as now, when you was talking about the arm, leg, arm, head, I can understand what that mean, because that basically shows that, okay, God is not just your physical self, but it's your divine self that's within the physical body. Like basically, you are that energy that manifests in the body. You know what I'm saying? You're going through human experience. So, you know, okay, so in this particular case, we're gonna use the terminology man, right? Because God is associated with man in the teachings. So with that being said, that means man have to connect with his divine self. And once he connect with his divine self, right, then he can balance between who he is from that divinity and his physical part of him. So once he learn how to connect that, then he can balance it out. He can be able to demonstrate his character. But also that the concept of God is, or Allah is, also in the mind. It has to start with the mind. You know what I'm saying? Before it can just enter through. You know what I'm saying? Before you can just you know say it's a physical. You know what I'm saying? It's in the mind, because you that's where you do the knowledge yourself. So the knowledge yourself is basically dealing with the psychology of self, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now you deal with the psychology of self, then you got the science of self. Because and this is gonna kind of go into the next question, so to speak, but this is where we start, like the conversation we always talk about, physics, right? When we
Mm-hmm.
deal with the atoms, the
Right.
subatomic particles,
Right.
and the biology, the cells, the
Right.
bacteria, et cetera, right? Right. So it's
Mhm.
like that's the creator operating within us. You know what I'm saying? Using us as the vessel tool
R-
and use other organisms as vessel tools as well. But in the
correct.
case of man, the creator is using man as a vessel tool, you know what I'm saying, by all this biological makeup that we have and the atomic makeup and the subatomic makeup and, being a part of the stars and the cosmos as well, because that's our progenitor, that's our ancestry, you know what I'm saying, before the animal kingdom came into existence, you know what I'm saying, that was our ancestor. That was the ancestor that was already here. You know what I'm saying? The elements that we see on the periodic table, those are our ancestors. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And the thing is, I want to just say, the Arabic world and American English world is two different things, and that's why I
Mm-hmm.
said that the 5%er aspect that was created right here in North America was based off the Western world and
Right,
their interpretation. So I'm not saying anything's wrong with it, but in the Arabic world,
right,
Allah cannot be defined by arm, leg, arm, head. You get what
right,
I'm saying?
right,
It's alif,
right,
lam, ha, right?
right.
In the American world, in the Western world, I hear when you just broke it down, you broke down a biological aspect and you broke down a metaphysical aspect. And we understand that titles from the Western perspective, defining God or Allah in that sense is metaphysical. But you talked about the biological processes like chemicals and different things that made way for the biology and all those different things. It's the reactions or the basic reactions of what makes up or define us as what we are biologically. That's one thing. But the Arabic world and the American Standard of English world, the 5% of thing, yes, what you just said makes complete sense from this perspective here.
Mm-hmm.
But on the mainstream Islamic world, on a larger scale, most of those people wouldn't include lessons like that and it's not, I'm not like I told you, from this perspective, we are Americans, we are not Arabs, but we have to understand the American. I mean, we have to understand that world, and that world is not defined by that. But everything you said on a metaphysical level, from what we, from here, understanding here, speaking English and defining Allah in English in that sense, and making up that narrative of what we have, because based off what we've been through, absolutely. And when you explain the processes biologically, how you see it, it's part and partial. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah,
from the Arabic world, I think we have to understand time and places. And if we tried to pull that, if we went back home and Senegal, Nigeria, Ghana, Sierra Leone, Timne, Mandinka, Wolof, Fulani, and different groups that we descend from are at, they probably wouldn't understand it until we explain it to them. Explain it to them. Even with their own Sufi orders, because they do have Sufi orders there, like
yeah,
Bafar and Moritz and different things. But they wouldn't understand that because that's something that the African in America or the African North American created based off what he was going through. You get what I'm trying to say? But what you said and your explanation makes sense. And that's why it's important for us, like with Germa, we merge those worlds because we understand the times and places. You get what I'm trying to say?
yeah.
So,
Yeah, 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 yeah. So, yeah, but yeah. Oh yeah, I was about to show this, but yeah, see, this was one of the first book I had got
yeah.
about 12, 13 years
And,
ago.
hey,
So,
that's by the Brother Supreme Understanding?
yep.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So this is one of my personal favorites. This is one of
Yeah.
my personal favorites
Oh
because
yeah.
he actually break down he deals with the biology. He deals with what I'm saying, just natural science in general, but he also, talk about the 5% lesson in here as well. But he breaks it down. He does a thorough job. So this is one of my personal favorite books. So that's how I was able to break it down.
Hey, you did great.
Yeah, yeah, but so how, and you know what? Let's bring the Moorish knowledge into this, you know what I'm saying? Just a little bit. I mean, because it's like all the teachings go back, you know what I'm saying? Like they all kind of like descend from one another, you know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
like the Moorish thing, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like the Nation of Islam teaching especially in its early beginning, the Moorish teaching, the saying the 5% less. I mean, it's like you can like see all the esoteric concept, in those teachings.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? If you go back, you know what I mean?
yeah. More science, more science played a major role in our a major role with the early phase of what we had, in the sense of dealing with fragmented Islam before we learned it from a larger scale. I don't, Noble Drew Ali. Before Noble Drew Ali, you had people talk about Deuce Muhammad Ali, but I'm gonna just start with Noble Drew Ali, and there has been others because we know a lot of the.
Ahmadiyya movement.
I'm sorry.
The Ahmadiyya.
Yeah, but we that's Pakistanis, and then we gonna kick them out. We ain't gonna talk about them. We gonna
Yeah.
talk about.
Okay.
But yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But no. You're right though. The Ahmadiyya community, but when it comes to Africans, Deuce Muhammad Ali, we had a lot of Africans who were kidnapped, who because a lot of the African slaves, I think at 30 to 40% in the
Yeah.
beginning phase were Islamic. We had a lot of Fulani
Yeah.
Muslims here,
Hausa.
Mandinka, Wolof, different things. I mean,
Hausa.
Islam is part of the African of North America experience. It's part of our experience, and we should embrace it. Um, but then when Noble Drew Ali came, he dealt with a quasi form of Islam, and
Mhm.
a little of his historical narrative of the Moors was off at a high rate. But we still respect him because the black side of what's called Moor and the black population that was amongst the actual historical Moors, who were mainly Amazic, or what they label as Berber. The black side was a minority, and you really start to see a larger portion of them with the Almoravids. And these Almoravids, or the people that was gathered in the Almoravid on the armies, were mainly Fulani, Wolof, or if you look up the Black Sultan, he had a black mother. His mother was, they say, either Fulani or Mandinka. But what I'm saying is that when you look at the people of the Sahel, I like to deal with the black side of what they're labeling as Moor, who was a small portion. They wasn't the majority, but they were part and partial. And this black population, our population, is coming from the Sahel. And I thank Noble Drew Ali for giving us an idea or leading us into the direction to do further research to fully understand, this Moorish thing. And a lot of the Sufi orders, believe it or not, coming from crossing through Iran and Turkey, a lot of the Sufi orders was in Algeria and Morocco, even before it drifted down into Senegal. If you study the Murid order in its inception, you're going to find it going all the way back to Iran, and you're going to find a lot of these orders in Algeria. So Morocco is very important. Not that we are the Berbers, because we're not, but in the sense of capital base of Islam for Africa, Morocco played a very important role for Islam. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we should respect, because they are Africans regardless to what they look like, because the people are going to get into this conversation. And a lot of the orders, if you're a Sufi, people know that a lot of the Sufi orders was coming through North Africa. And before North Africa, the earliest Sufi orders is coming through, Iran, and southern Turkey in certain portions when you study it. So Noble Drew Ali, and bringing his esoteric side and studying whatever he created his own little his book. That esoteric side got us into the right direction, and then you got the Farad Muhammad and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. They come in and kind of upgraded, and just didn't make Islam for just Moorish Americans. They made the Asiatic the black man in their concept being a universal man. They made it bigger than Morocco. They made it, their version of it was just for the black man. And then after that, you get Clarence 13X, who people call Father God Allah, who who goes further into the lessons and just take it to the streets. You know what I'm saying? Take those lessons that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad had, and they added on some things with it. He took it to the streets. You know what I'm saying? There you go. And we definitely can't deny Malcolm El Hajj Malik Shabazz, who led us in the great direction, because he get us in larger international affairs. When Malcolm El Hajj Malik Shabazz started going back and forth to Africa, and his order, what he had, I think he was with Wallace Dean, Farad Muhammad's son at one time, who's also respected. But Malcolm El Hajj Malik Shabazz really cornered us in a place of Africa. So I don't like to skip him as part of the jewels too,
Oh, right, right.
as
Most
part of the
definitely.
foundation.
Most definitely. Most definitely. Most definitely. Malcolm, yeah, he was, and then he was even studying African history before he even got into Islam. You know what I'm saying? And
Yes.
then when we after the Nation of Islam, we started connecting with Dr. John Henry Clark, and they formed the I forgot, it's called the OOAU.
Yes.
So yeah, yeah,
So,
they formed the it basically deal with African unity. You know what
and,
I'm saying? As a matter of fact, what I learned about that, that the masjid in New York,
mm-hmm,
it's called MIB.
mm-hmm,
I think at one point it was I think it was named after Malcolm, or it was something that Malcolm had started.
mm-hmm.
It's somewhere in Harlem.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And that's why I don't ever want to deny him. And now we are in the year 2024.
Mhm.
So we respect a lot of the old teachings that help make way for us. We respect
Mhm.
all those people. But in the year 2024, when you say in Gurma, the Sufi order, who is the original man? I wouldn't say Asiatic black man. And a lot of the people that's of the nation of gods and earth wouldn't accept that. The original man is a sub-Saharan African black man because Homo sapiens sapiens developed in sub-equatorial Africa, super Saharan.
Well, the term Asiatic
I know
basically.
Asia means body and Attic means mind in that sense, but we outgrew it. And I understand that meaning. Asia means body, Attic means mind, but we outgrew it. I respect it. But in truth, Black Africa and our portion of Africa has to be talked about and not merged and smuggled and splendid with every population of dark skin. So if you
Mm,
ask me who's the original man, I'm going to say, and even that question is kind of quite who the original man. We can go back in evolution from a scientific angle, but on if I was to say it directly, I'll say the equatorial tropical man, the sub-Saharan African black man. You know what I'm saying? Because Homo sapiens sapiens develop in equatorial zones in Africa. It's just this that. I'm not including Mecca. I'm not including Arabia. We're talking about equatorial zones of Africa. And we know that organisms, higher volumes of radiation, the more you have DNA damage, the more DNA damage, the more you find mutations. So we understand that organisms tend to move faster in its changes in higher volumes of radiations in equatorial zones. And you should look that up. Why do organisms evolve quicker in equatorial zones? So the original man is a sub-Saharan African black man.
mm.
But I understand the older understanding of what they had when it comes to, Asiatic, Asian meaning body, Attic meaning mind. But a lot of this stuff it has included people, and I don't want to say it publicly right now, but it included too many other things or other groups of people. There you go. Too many people with us that shouldn't even be there, and they have their own little agenda while being an Asiatic black man. So I'm kind of cautious of that, and I stand on that because nobody can say that we can't change and have our own narratives because the mind don't stop. It doesn't stop with Clarence 13X. It doesn't stop with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And the brain doesn't stop with Noble Drew Ali. Those are parts of our evolution. Now, in some cases, we can say that people were wrong. Charles Darwin didn't know nothing about genetics, but he's still the father of evolution in the Western world, right?
Mhm.
So what I'm saying is we upgrade the information and stand on business the way we should be, because we shouldn't be stagnant saying, oh, you can't do this, oh, you can't do that. Oh,
That's
no.
right. And that's why I say that I don't place a label on myself. I'd
Alhamdulillah.
rather be identified as a student of life
Alhamdulillah. And that's a
because,
good thing.
yeah, because, as a student of life, you learn so much and you're developing knowledge each day. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
right.
You're going through different phases.
That's
So
right.
that's why you don't never want to stagnate yourself, because there's some information you really need
Absolutely.
that's going to help you along the way. And then there's
Absolutely.
some information that you're going to have to unlearn,
That's right.
you know what I'm saying? And learn something new and then relearn. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's the thing too. We have to understand science and evolution, and understand science from a full angle, because we're in competition. So we want to be part of the largest scale with understanding the scientific world. We don't want to say outdated stuff and be wrong. We want to keep up with science. We want to know astronomy. We want to know biology. We want to know physics. We want to know anthropology and understand fossils and archaeology and understand, real historical literature. We don't want to be stagnant with old things because we're in competition. And I wouldn't go to a scientific class or a biology class talking about Yakub. We have to understand what propaganda is and understand the symbolism of Yakub because he's not historical and because there's nothing wrong with propaganda. And a lot of that stuff is all old, outdated propaganda. And we can still use that because I see Yakub every day on a metaphorical level. Every house nigga, no good ass nigga that put other people in front of me or put other groups of people before his own is a Yakub ass nigga, aka a goofy ass nigga. Two brains, egotistic, right? One side of the brain is egotistic, the other one is arrogance. That's a goddamn goofy. That's the large brain, an arrogant fool, a big headed goofy nigga. So what I'm saying is that we see that character every day, and it should just be that a character, a symbolic character. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yes. Yeah. Well. Okay. Yes. 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 Now, speaking of humans, right? Let's get into the aspect of human behavior and how we are part of the animal kingdom. Because
Correct.
people still confused. They want to know, well, how are we part of the animal kingdom? You know what I'm saying? People confused by evolution. You know what I'm saying? Because you and I both had this conversation that evolution is not linear, but about genetic, right?
Correct. Correct.
Okay. So now we gotta explain, well, what makes human a part of the animal kingdom?
I mean, we're made of the same stuff of every other form of organic life. We're made of the same chemicals. You have the homeotool or the host gene. When we have, the same limb proportions, in the sense of limb structure, I'm sorry. Um, the human being is is an animal. He's not a type of animal. He is part of the animate life or the animal kingdom. You can't get past that. We're organisms. We won't deny ourselves from being organisms, will we? I mean, we wouldn't deny ourselves for understanding our biological anatomy and how we function, certain traits that we have shared with our cousins like bonobos and chimps. We are Homo sapiens sapiens are a type of great ape, like a gorilla, orangutan, and a chimp and a bonobo. We're all great apes, and they don't have tails. And we're a type of great ape. We're part of that. Evolution is a fact. We have certain remnants in our body that's a reminder of our earlier phases with other groups of species. You get what I'm trying to say? The
Yeah,
bipedalness, So it's like you can't get past being part and parcel of animate life or being part of the animal kingdom. I mean, it's just what it is. We're not at a higher scale. We're not at a lower scale. The only thing that separates us is our complex cerebral cortex and this vivid imagination that we have because we are a mimicking species. But at the end of the day, um, what does me building a big mansion and a big tower matter to a bird that fly across that motherfucker and shit on it? You get what I'm trying to say? It doesn't matter. Our society and our structure matters to us as human beings because it's our reality. So for us, the human kingdom and the human environment is important, and we make ourselves more than what we really are. But ultimately, we're just another bag of cells with an expiration date, like every other organism, and that's just part of reality. But whatever I do, I mean, COVID shows you that. If you deal with the history of COVID and how it functioned and how it passed from other organisms and how it mutated, it was other strands of it prior before. But viruses and different things don't stop you. You think you're so superior, but it's small viruses that'll weigh your ass out. You know what I'm
oh
saying?
yeah,
So what I'm trying to say is that no, we are part of animal life. We are animals, and human beings are a type of ape. And you can see a lot of traits with us and our cousins, bonobos. And people say, "Oh, that's wrong," or a religious person to say, "That's check." But you don't understand evolution. The standard of Homo sapien mind is the vivid imagination that we have, which is the complex cerebral cortex. That's about it. So that's all I wanted to say on that. Hey, Tiff,
yes.
I don't want to shorten this, but I may have to leave. If you want to
Okay,
keep talking, I can come back in the next 10 minutes.
okay, all right then, brother. I appreciate you though.
Yes, yes. I will continue in 10 minutes if you want to keep talking. I just want to do something, or you can shut it down now, Queen.
Okay, well, I mean, I'll say something, and then hopefully you'll come back.
Okay, okay, cool. I'll be right back. Give me 10 minutes.
Okay
And we
then.
have to continue. We have to continue this because I want to hear your input as well.
Oh, okay, okay,
All right.
yeah. I'm about to get my input.
All right. I'll be right back.
All right then. All right,
Okay.
peace. All right, y'all. So I want to say something. that was a great bill. You know what I'm saying? Now to piggyback off his point about the animal, I mean about us humans being part of the animal kingdom, right? I mean, we are, you know what I'm saying? I mean, because if you actually study human behavior, right? I'm talking about from a deeper sense, take away the morality, take away culturalism, right? You will see who we really are. Like, put a bunch of human in a room together, okay? Under harsh condition, especially, you will see how we really act. We we act on our animal nature because we're trying to survive. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to compete to get around. Now, I was bringing about book recommendation. As you guys can see, I kept holding this book up. This is called Race and Human Evolution, which is written by Melford Wolpoff and Rachel Kaparsky, if that's how you say her name. It says A Fatal Attraction. So this book goes into the concept about race and the human evolution. So we all know that race is a social construct, right? It is a social construct. And however, the human evolution is factual. You know what I'm saying? So the whole purpose of the concept of race is to bring a separation, a division, not only between human, but to create a hierarchy and a superior class and a lower class. You understand what I'm saying? All right. Also, now going back to what I was stating about the Sufi and supreme mathematics. So he does make a great point. You know, there is differences. So for those who thought that, or it felt some kind of way like, oh, well, what you're saying is disrespectful to the nation, etc., whoop-de-whoop. No, that's a complimentary. Because if you actually study how the nation builds, right, you can see the esoteric concept. And when you study the Sufi knowledge, it's Islamic esotericism, mysticism. Okay? You know what I'm saying? So there, what I was trying to get at is the correlation. And as I mentioned on social media, for those of you that are watching, that's on my other page, right? There's the correlation. Now, they're not the same. There's differences, okay? But then there's the correlation. And the correlation is the esoteric concept. So which makes it beautiful. And so I was sharing some books, right? That deals with the 5% lesson and supreme mathematics and whatnot. So I was sharing this book right here. The True History of Allah and His 5%, right? The gods and the earth who were there. And also this book is called The Supreme Wisdom. Okay. So in here it deals with the 120 lessons, etc., all of that. Yeah, so this was the knowledge that W.D. Farr Muhammad was given to Elijah Muhammad, right? And he was giving him the lessons. So Elijah Muhammad passed the lesson down to the students and whatnot. And then also, you know, in this book it got the supreme mathematics in here. But yeah. And so that's that book. Also, like I mentioned to the brother, this is one of my personal favorite. Okay, because not only it gets into the 5% knowledge, but you also deals with the science. Okay, you dealing with the actual science. Salam, how you doing, brother? Peace be upon you. How you doing? Salam, salam, salam. Oh, I'm sorry, sister. Oh, I had to salam, sister. I'm sorry, because I'm so used to the guys coming in. So, but nah, this book right here, like I say, it's my personal favorite. And also, I got the other book. Let me see what I did with it. All right. So yeah, so this is the book that was given to me by a brother that was in the nation that's 5%. He actually gave me this book, Knowledge Yourself book. A very, very powerful book or whatnot. But when I bought this book here, this is what intrigued me, not only to learn about the knowledge of self, but also deal with science. Like dealing with actual science. You're talking about biology, you're talking about geology, you're talking about physics, anthropology. You know what I'm saying? It goes into all of that in this book. And I'm like, wow, this book was so intriguing that it happened to be my top favorite book. You know what I'm saying? And you can see how this book is worn out. this thing is worn out. Oh boy. Yeah. Yeah, so I bought this book around like 2013. I had it for a long time. For a long time, but this is like one of my favorite. One of my favorite. You know what? In fact, maybe I should share something out of this book. Okay. Let me see where I'm going to share. What would I like to share from this book? Since I'm holding this book up. You know, and matter of fact, let me just show you the pages. Like, for example, okay, in this session, it got what the meaning of life, right? What is life? And you see the artwork in this book. Like, this is the Son of Man. And it's basically like show you the different formation of the universe or whatnot. Look at this. This. Like, this is really cool. Oh, and look at it. Look at this. Look at it. See, it goes into the concept about evolution and whatnot. See, it talks about the Homo erectus, the Homo sapiens adultus, the Homo sapiens sapien. Let's see. I mean, shoot. And speaking of this, I'm about to like literally go back and reread this book. I mean, because like I said, it was one of my personal favorites. It's one of my personal favorites. Watch this. Check this out. It says scientists once believed that such complex life form didn't develop until recently, right? Which is the last 600 million years. But in the July of 2010, an international team found evidence of multicellular organism dating back 2.1 billion years. The research team analyzed 250 fossils found in clay deposit in Gabon in Western Africa. The fossilized creatures, some of them as wide as the palm of your hand, appear to have an organized internal structure composed of a network of cells capable of signaling and coordinating responses, suggesting complexity far beyond the simple bacterial structures they expect to find. Again, the colonial nature of these organisms is important, but we'll have to get back to it. There is more evidence of the multicellular life from around 1.7 billion years ago, but multicellular life didn't experience a population explosion until the Cambrian period over a billion years later. For this to happen, we needed the development of something new, sex. You know, I would suggest like this is the beginning start. If you really like want to understand evolution, you know what I'm saying, and deal with the science, I would suggest people to buy this book. You know what I'm saying, as a beginning start of understanding evolution. Like I suggest it. I strongly suggest it. So if you really want to get a better understanding about the concept of race and all of this stuff and evolution and biology and whatnot, I would suggest starting off with this book. I would suggest starting off with this book. I think this book is very phenomenal. So this is my personal favorite, and I'm gonna go back and read it. Yes, as a reminder, I'm gonna go back and read it because I already got so much highlighted in this book, but I'm gonna go back and actually read this book again because I love it. That's how much I love this book. Like, it's my personal favorite. Like, real talk. So yeah, but for me, and let me talk about fasting. Fasting is very beneficial because it helps you to not only be able to control your diet, but also learn how to stay focused and develop discipline. Once you have that form of discipline that is needed, once you have that discipline, then you'll be able to learn how to maintain control. You'll be able to not only know how to control your diet, but you can control your thought pattern. That's what I see when it comes to fasting. And then there's this concept of fasting called asceticism. So asceticism, right, is a form of fasting, but it's like on a deeper level. Like, you really try to, how can I say this? You're still a part of the world, but you're so much focused on your spiritual self. You know what I'm saying? You more focused on your spirituality and focus on your discipline than you are focusing on the world. So you refrain from a lot of activity for a while. And I did a video covering about asceticism. So it's a very common practice. Well, I wouldn't say that it's very common, but it is practical, right? In various different schools of thought, such as Buddhism is one of them. They practice what's called monasticism, if I'm saying it right, which is like the Buddhist teacher, sort of, or somebody in the hierarchy. They pretty much, fasting and become like celibate and all of that. Yeah, but like Ngozi mentioned, fasting been around for a long period of time. But there's a lot of benefits to it. When you fast, you basically increase your metabolism. You learn how to stay focused, and you develop a art of discipline. You develop that discipline, real talk. So yeah, that's the build. But I also want to give another book recommendation. My own personal recommendation. Okay, so this one is dealing with anthropology. Okay. Oh, wrong way. All right, anthropology, everything you need to know to master the subject in one book. Okay. So this is a good book. I think I got this from Barnes and Nobles. No, I got this from an event that I went to. But for those of you that don't know what anthropology is, anthropology deals with the study of humanity, right? And there's 4 different levels of anthropology, which deals with the biology, the culture, the linguistics, and the archaeology. Again, biology, culture, linguistics, and archaeology. All right. So that is the 4 different branches of anthropology. So I would recommend this book as well. So it's so many stuff that I could really go into. Ooh. And here's another one called The Evolution Psychology. So it's like basically the psychology of evolution, right? Or dealing with how psychology and evolution intertwine with each other. So it talks about the biology, of course, is going to get into that, but over a period of time, how human develop a way of thinking, develop cultural practices. It gets into the behavior and things of that nature. So, yeah. So it's this book right here. Okay, he coming back. Hold on.
Yo, could you hear me?
Yo, yeah, I can hear
Yeah,
you.
yeah, 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 yeah. What's going on? Yeah, I'm back, sir.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, I was just basically building. I was basically saying, like, if people really want to get the understanding of, like, the beginning of evolution or whatnot, like, if they starting to learn evolution, like, I was recommending this book. And I was basically telling people, like, how I'm going to go back and actually read this book again because this is one of my personal favorite. Um, yeah, so, like, if they really want to understand evolution from, its simplicity, this is a great start right here. Like this is the beginning start, so I was saying that, and then basically picking up off of what you was talking about. Like I was breaking down like the science of fasting and like why fasting is important. Like I was basically telling the people out there that fasting basically teach you how to have more discipline, how to be more focused, and um it increase your metabolism.
Absolutely,
Yeah. So,
absolutely.
uh-huh.
It rebooted too. So yes, it definitely reboots and benefits the metabolism. That's the chemical reactions I was talking about. So that's what your metabolism is. So
Right.
it's that it's
And then,
definitely a good resetter.
oh yeah, most definitely. Yeah, most definitely. And then I was explaining like, as far as like human behavior, like, like giving one example, right? Let's say you put us all in the same room. Like you put everybody in the same room, right? And when it comes to survival mode, that's when you'll start seeing our animal nature.
Correct.
Because we're in that survival mode, right? We're trying to figure out, okay, that's the concept of survival of the fittest. So who's going to last long enough in that room?
I mean,
You know what
yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But the human characteristic, even with just not being like, just dealing with everything we do is animal nature. It's our part of animal nature, which is the Homo sapiens sapien, or this type of great ape called Homo sapiens sapien. So, um, just the substance that we use to create technology comes from natural substance of the earth. It doesn't come from
Yeah.
nothing outside of that. So I mean, we find ways to make things easier based off this new modern or advanced technology that's beneficial. Even though human beings are getting more lazier and where a lot of us are becoming more sociopathic and weirdos, uh, and all types of weird stuff, but humans are a mind species, or overly thinking species, because our imagination is what drives us. So symbolic thought is what drives the Homo sapien or the species. Human beings are living much longer, so it's giving us much more longer time to develop new higher strands of cancer. Cancer is what? A collection of diseases that forms into abnormal cells that divide uncontrollably. Cells, tissue, organs, and then that's the final phase. So humans are staying around much longer to have these later derived mutations, even in those portions of of who we are. But everything we do is part of that of the animal kingdom. Now, when it comes to when you brought up the analysis of the small room, yeah, the human being, is primal instinctive nature is going to kick in, and that alpha whoever is going to dominate over the rest and going to stand out and live. That's just natural. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. Oh yeah. 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 I get what you're saying. Now, do you think culture is the reason why? I mean, because there was an article that I read a while back about what basically sustain evolution, right? Is it biology or is it culture? And the article basically shows why culture sustained evolution or kept evolution going as opposed to biology. Now, we know biology is a factor because otherwise we wouldn't be here because reproduction is part of biology. So we wouldn't be here without reproduction. But
Culture is created by people. Culture can change through time. It's
I
like
mean,
paper.
yeah,
But but evolution is going to happen anyway. Evolution is change. Pressure is going to cause change. As long as the life or organisms live, evolution is going to take place. Surviving within the changes is what matters. So successful reproduction, which is when you start studying talking about biology, which means the study of life, is when we get into the successful reproduction of the organism that's able to stay around long enough to adjust to the changes through time. You have within natural selection, sexual selection, and different mechanisms within evolution itself that we have to understand from a further scale. So evolution only means change. Now, culture, you can create culture to help sustain you within those changes. And we can see this with early hunter gatherers who later became agri-pastoralists from pastoralists, and then you start to find the agricultural industrial industry when you start looking at the Bantu farmers and the ancient Egyptians and all these other farmers all over the world. And this is when you start finding these people use agriculture. This is a good book to get called Guns, Germs, and Steel. Guns, Germs, and Steel. I forgot the author's name, but he
I
talks
think I
about
heard that book before.
it's a very good book. But when you start dealing with Egyptians, this is when you start to find where humans use a lot of substitutes to deal with the environment that they're in. Because if you get living in places where there's a lot of where a lot of famine and drought, you have to learn to preserve seeds and grains because in this season you're gonna lose everything. So let's understand the peaks of the season and learn to work with the land and cultivate the land. Or with the Bantus, who were the earlier ancestors of the Bantu speakers, was in the Sahel at one time, and before that they was in the Green Sahara. And then a lot of these people start drifting down. You had three phases of the Holocene Glacier period. Some of these people leaked down and intermixed with other populations that was already earlier West African hunter-gatherers and basal West African hunter-gatherers. And they're merging with these people. And then they're learning to preserve yams. And then they're dealing with iron, drifting through Mali. And they're learning how to work with their surroundings and their environment. But when it comes to people in the Levant or in North Africa near Egypt, you're looking at people that's starting to deal with a lot of grains, barley, and wheat and different things, and they're learning how to work with the environment based off the changes, and then they're creating culture once they become a settlement of agriculturalists. Then they're creating a method of doing things around them, and now you have these in suits or pharaohs or whatever you want to call them, who is the head farmer or the embodiment of the land. He's the gatherer of, I don't want to say Egypt because Egypt comes from a later derived Hekapatah, and as later arrived, we're going to call it for what it really was. I don't even want to call it Kemet because Kemet was just for one region. That's the black soil. You also had Deset. So we're going to call it Sematawi, the unification of two lands. He
Mm-hmm.
represents the father or the head farmer that if he don't do things right ritualistically, the whole world of the people or the citizens fail based off his political movements, the decisions that he make. So the farming was really important to them. And this is when you start to find their culture, this culture, even with the Bantus, when they become not even just Bantus, I want to use that term, but the Niger Congo speakers, the Niger Kadofian speakers, the Mende, the pre-Mende, the Timne, before that, the ancient Wolof, the Yoruba, who descend from the Nook people that was also in the Sahel, the Igbos, all these different people, even before you become the Benue Congo branch of Niger Congo, what we are labeling as Bantu, which means people or man, all those people from the Niger Congo pre-speaking regions who dealt with agriculture start to create um, cultures around the environmental shifts and changes that they were going through. So culture could be used to sustain you through the evolutionary changes. But
Mm-hmm.
but biologically in the sense of study of life, bios means life, ology means study of. Successful reproduction is key, and you have to stay around long enough in order to have successful reproduction for the organism to continue through the changes. So we create these cultures just like we do today in America, in the Western world. They created a culture, and this culture only matters to us because a lion does what it does naturally. Other groups of species and organisms are going to do what they do naturally, but we created a culture where things is beneficial to that for us to go through in our environments in order to sustain ourselves. But because Homo sapiens are becoming more domestic, we have a higher level of diseases. Even though back then in ancient times we wasn't living as long as we are now. But modern science and technology helps the organism live much longer. But you also have a lot of challenges that's occurring neurologically, a lot of neurologically, a lot of disorders mentally, a lot of disease, like I said, cancer, because the organism is staying around long enough to form a collection of diseases to form abnormal cell development when the abnormal cell development from a collection of diseases is the first form of cancer. Now we have different stages of this because the organism is staying around long enough. But we have a lot of mental disorder that's going on. So we do
Oh,
it.
speaking of mental disorder, I don't mean to cut you off because I gotta ask this question.
Uh huh.
I gotta ask this question.
Uh huh.
When you hear somebody or someone that make a statement saying that nature doesn't value men, like I'm talking about like men, like the male gender, nature doesn't value men.
I don't.
But I guess, but they believe that nature value women, and then you got people saying things like, um, we're not supposed to engage in sexual activity with each other, right?
Right.
and
I mean, those
then,
those 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 people are crazy. I don't. I stay away from those people. Schizophrenia is a major condition in African American community, even Africans on the continent. You should look into that because
mhm,
understanding the human genome is not just to understand basic haplogroups of sex chromosomes. That's when it becomes stupid and pseudo because people focus on a small part of your DNA, which only make up less than 1%, which is based off sex chromosomes that don't recombine, and that's pseudo. Understanding human genetics is what helps us understand medicines and diseases, or the medicines that we need to use or create to function on the focus on the diseases and the functioning of the disease. And schizophrenia is one of the major things that Africans suffer from. You get what I'm trying to say? So
mhm.
there's a lot of mental disorder that runs and white Europeans have diseases too. We could talk about cystic fibrosis. We could talk about how North Africans are highly more prone to Parkinson diseases. A whole lot of things. But it's important for us to understand the human genome to understand why we respond the way we respond based off the environments that we develop in. So when I hear people say stupid shit like that, I stay away from them. I can't even argue with idiots like that. I can't
But what if
argue with
they
idiots
talk
like that.
about parthenogenesis? What about parthenogenesis? They said that women was able to reproduce
I mean,
without.
they don't even understand the animal kingdom. I mean, they talking about things that happen in certain reptiles and plants. These are idiots. Like I don't really. You can't talk to people that's like stupid like that. Like I got people that's biased against the Fulani. I'm part Fulani, and they say and I don't even want to say part that because how many African Americans that was taken were not Fulani? They were Fulani. Fulani was taken to that special. But you got these
But we
nationalists.
was mixed of multiple ethnic
Yeah, yeah,
groups.
yeah, yeah. But I'm basically just black and black. But anyway, I got a recent person that's recently from Pula descent or Pula descent, and you got some people that's nationalists that talk shit about them because you got different issues going on the continent. People are fucked up. They just fucked up, and even people over there are fucked up. So it's like
Oh yeah.
you got to be very careful of the people that you talk to, especially those type of weirdos, because they don't really understand life and they don't understand environment, and they're not really scientifically literate. The problem is, it's just not us. You should hear the scarecrow crazy shit that some European people say, because all of them are not scientifically literate. So
Oh, of course.
you got some crazy ass people out here. So when I hear those type of people, I tend to stay away from them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they say that that there's a particular person that said that men are supposed to be with men and women are supposed to be with women.
Well, I think that person should hang themselves because successful reproduction does not come that way, and I mean that. I think that they should get a belt and tie it up against the washroom rail and like put their head inside of it and just and somebody should kick the bottom of it and let them hang themselves because those type of people shouldn't be around talking like that. Seriously, they're
Good
better off as
God.
plant food because as human beings they're not functioning right. You know what I'm saying? Seriously, like what human being would say some stupid shit like that, and then they got to come amongst our babies.
God damn. Damn, Ngozi. Damn.
I mean, it's
Damn.
really problematic.
Damn. Damn. That hanging. Damn.
No,
Okay.
I'm just saying, like, these people are around our children, and our
Right.
children, you know, and our children come back home saying this crazy stuff. And I don't think those type of people could function well. They're not functional well for society. Talking stupid like that. So that's when I hear stupidity like that. That's what I be thinking that they should do, and I stay away from them. So if you hear me ignoring you or staying away from you, that's what I'm thinking that you should do because I don't take you serious.
Oh yeah, the person that I'm talking about, well, it's a woman. that she's very popular on YouTube.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Also, so
Her name is Priscilla. So
oh well, she's a nutcase, and I think that she's just trying to get views and say things that make people feel good. You have those type of people out here too that say stupid stuff just for reaction, and there's a lot of sick, miserable people. Here's the thing about business:
mhm.
you got to get an audience of people to believe your bull crap and rhetoric, because the more messed up people out there, the more you can sell them hope. So if you got somebody saying stupid shit like that, and they can sell hope to people, she's gonna say all types of stuff because you got sick people that want to believe that. So she's a nutcase. She's just saying stuff because she know people want to hear it. You know?
Okay, and let me ask you this. This is one more question. Do you believe that men are incapable of love?
Why would man be incapable of loving? It's an impulse. Why this is a natural impulse. I mean, why
Well,
would we be?
but this woman has argued that men are incapable of love because they don't have that natural instinct to love. They can only care.
Nah. That's not true. Mess with my kids and see how much I love them and see what happens to you. Mess with something that belongs to me and see how much I love it and see what happens to you. Fuck with me if you want to, and I guarantee you're gonna see what's gonna happen to you legally. I guarantee you, wallahi. You get what I'm trying to say? So for her to say that, no, bro, like that don't even make no damn sense. She
Yeah,
just, she just, she just bitter. Some man did something to her. You got a lot of bitter people out here. She might be, I mean, she might be a lesbian, and people be just anti-man and anti-whatever. She gotta live with that though. It's crazy.
yeah. I had to ask that question. I had to ask because a lot of guys pretty much believe the same thing that you're saying. So a lot of guys they don't agree with that, and there's women who actually agree with her on that. So I'm just asking you for your point of view.
Yeah, but a lot of these women are hurt. They've been hurt by men, so they have these sayings. And you also have these pro men, super pro men that's anti women that gets off on not loving a woman, treating her bad, don't listen to what she got to say. She don't have a voice. You got men like that too. Like these people got mother and daddy issues before they come into outside and go outside in reality and into an environment. A lot of people got mental disorders, and they don't even know how to properly socialize at all. You got weirdos out here. Seriously, a bunch of weirdos. And what's crazy and dangerous about social media today, because you got nutcases that got a platform now, and they get money off this shit. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, yeah, it is crazy. It is crazy. Oh, one more question, and I'm done. There was a guy that was going around saying that humans should not be drinking water.
Well, he needs to go dehydrate and let himself die in the corner. Because anybody that say that a human being should drink water should be
Yeah,
dead.
that only animals drink water. Only animals drink water, not human. Humans are
Well,
not
well,
supposed to drink water.
well, whatever happens to him within the next year with that mentality, he deserves it. Shit, if he can last 3 months, whatever happens to him, he deserves it. Saying stupid shit like that, I mean, why be here? Like, damn.
Oh, child. Okay, okay, okay. That's enough. That's enough. That's enough. That's enough. That's enough. That's enough right there. I need that laugh.
People out here crazy, man. Like I'm serious. Like you got some weirdos out here. I can't. Nah.
Oh, child. Okay, that's enough. That's enough. But
So
anyways,
you know what? You know what, Tiffany? When you hear people like that, that's what you do. You laugh at them because they are a joke. Seriously, you
I
laugh at them.
do laugh.
Yeah, they not important. Just laugh at them.
I do laugh. I do laugh, man.
Do you see what type of people was coming out of these type of environments and communities? You got the poor lights. You got the fucking the nature boy. Like all these people deserve what happened to them because
That boy got life in prison.
and that's good. He deserves it. He's a menace to society. Why wouldn't he not? He's a menace. He's not productive for anyone or society. He should have life. It doesn't make any sense with the shit that these people are teaching. You know?
You right. You right about that. You right about that. Yeah, you're right. Oh, but on other note, Lil Jon has converted. He has took his
Who?
shahada. Lil
Who?
Jon, the rapper. Lil Jon.
Oh, that's good. Alhamdulillah. That's good. But
Yeah.
I think Lil John is like 52 years old now, and I think that's good. I hope that he studied the deen, and I'm glad he found Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, And alhamdulillah, that's good. I'm glad he took his shahada.
Yeah. So, but anyways, and goes. I
But you know
do.
what? Though I'm gonna say this though, Tiffany.
Mhm.
Anybody that finds peace and able to live with themselves and find peace, and they want to see a better place and a better world for their next generation and the extension of whoever, is beneficial. Like, as a Muslim, I'm not one of those Muslims that say, oh, you got to convert, you got to no. I think find peace, seek peace, because it all leads to the same, beautiful feeling, the feeling
Right.
of peace. So as long as you find peace and you want a better environment and a better community, and you living by the principles, you living by the certain principles that makes you protect your peace. That's all that matters. So alhamdulillah, I'm glad brother Lil John took his shahada, and I hope he do good in it, and in it. It's between him and his rab.
Yeah. Most definitely. I'm appreciative of that too, and I'm proud of him. I think he did. I think he's at a good place. I
Oh
really
yeah.
believe so. Yeah, but it goes in. I really appreciate this. Real talk. Shoot, it's always great to build with you. You always come with some heavy hidden information. Shoot, any words of encouragement you want to give to the people out there?
Hey yo, love self, love life, and keep up high vibes. Keep all negativity away from you. If it doesn't allow you to progress, or if you don't deal with anything that's an example of progression, always shoot forward, yo, because life don't move backwards, and it's short. So while we have this short time here, always seek for high vibes, positivity. Keep stagnant energy away from you. Love and peace, yo.
All right, love and peace. All right, be safe out there, Ngozi.
Assalamu alaikum. Peace to you, Queen.
Walaikum salam.
Bye bye.
All right, bye bye. All right, y'all, and y'all take it easy, man. I appreciate y'all coming in and watching, tuning in. So for those of you that just getting inside the chat or whatnot, y'all have to watch the video from the very beginning. This is a great build. It was a good build at that. So um it was a good build, but there was some great information on here, and also there was some things that made us laugh or made me laugh at that. You know what I'm saying? So it's always good to have people like Brother and Goldie. So until next time, y'all take it easy. Peace and power, elevation be to all of you. And make sure you like the channel, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, share the channel, and share the video. All right. Until next time, peace. Y'all be safe. This your girl Tiffany, and I'm off. All right. And Ramadan Mubarak. All right.